All right, so I'm going to help you also with your reading lesson. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start on lesson 8. So today we're going to be looking at different kinds of maps and how to read a map. And really, in this day and age that we live in with our phones, we use so much of just, hey, Google, get me to wherever, and Google will just bring it up. And so really, paper maps, we still have them and they're very important, but we don't use them much anymore. But it's very important for you to know how to use them, because there may be a time that our phones don't work anymore. Believe that or not. I grew up without one. And I did just fine. I learned how to use paper maps. So we're going to start today by using a paper map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch screens, and we're going to look at some examples of different kinds of maps first. And we're also going to look at one vocabulary word that we're going to come across in our reading. And then we'll do a little bit of reading, a little bit of talking about it, and then we'll do a couple of pages, okay? We're going to try to make this a short lesson. All right, so let me put some stuff on the screen, and let's look at these different kinds of maps. Okay, here is a certain kind of map. This map is called an agricultural map. Now, this is a map, of course, of the United States. This is where we live. Here's Florida, and here's Texas, good old Texas where we live. Now, you see right over here, it's kind of really hard to see, but I'm going to see if I can zoom into, well, I did zoom in. Okay, you see this right here? This is a key. And what that is it tells us what all of these keys stand for. So for instance, let's look over here in Texas. So over here, kind of up where we live, we have a number 8 and we have a number 12 because we live right over here. So let's see what an 8 and 12 is. 8 is cotton and 12 is sugar cane. Oh, wow. So sugar cane's done right around in here. Let's look down here near Houston. That's a number 9. What's number 9? Rice. Oh, yeah. Rice is all right around here. See, this is what an agricultural map tells us. It just kind of shows us, and it depends on where you're looking. Some people may not be looking in the United States. They may be looking in a different area. But it shows you where all the different agriculture, that has to do with growing food, farming and ranching, and how people or how a culture gets their food. And as you can see, there's lots of different things around here. Lots of cattle, sheep, fishing over here, lots of fishing. People get their food from that. Rice down along here. So that's an agricultural map. Here's another map. This is also the United States. This is a manufacturing production by state. So it tells you what things are produced, what kinds of things are manufactured in each state. So it looks like Texas, and I believe this is Wyoming, I believe. And then a bunch of New England states up here. We've got Pennsylvania, New York, we've got Maryland and Connecticut and Delaware, all these places right up in here. Those are chemicals. See, we matched the colors. Those are chemicals. Let's see, California out here. Let's see, what color matches this? Would you say maybe, maybe this one? It's kind of hard to tell. Or maybe this one, machinery. The one right beside it, this is Nevada. Some people say Nevada. I say Nevada. It's orange. Non-metallic minerals. Let's look over here. Florida's yellow. All these yellow ones right over in here. Food products. Oh, they produce food products. So this is a map that shows what kinds of things are manufactured and produced in each state. Here's a physical map of the United States. A physical map shows land elevations and physical features like mountains, valleys, deserts, and different colors show different land elevations. People also can call this a topographical map. Topographical, whatever you want to call it. I call it a physical map. But you see the different, let's zoom in right here. Woo! All right. So you see all the different layers, kind of. The dark green is going to be sea level, near sea level. That means it's low. And this dark brown right here, that's high. That means it's mountainous right here. So that's what a physical map shows you. It shows you the physical features of an area. Okay, let's see what other kinds of maps we have here. A political map. A political map shows countries, states, provinces, cities. Different colors show man-made divisions. Okay, so here this is Africa. This is the country of Africa. And all these lines in here, these are the different countries. Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco up here, Guinea, Nigeria here, Chad, Sudan, Ethiopia. You see all these are countries. And you can also see the cities in there. That shows you the waters, you know, what they're called. Shows you the capitals. All these red dots are the capital cities. So that's what a political map shows you. Shows you all the different little parts of whatever area you're looking at. All right, let's see what's next. Well, I thought I had another map next, but it's not going to let me over. Or is it? Well, I did have another map. I can bring it up right here. Here we go. Here's one. Here's a weather map. It shows precipitation. This is of the United States. So this green, bluish colors here, this shows how much in inches, how much rain per year every area gets. See the colors as they go up, the less rainfall that they get every year. So it just shows you the rainfall. Here's a map. This is a local map. I bet you'll recognize some of the names here. Quitman, Winnsboro, Coke, it's the community where I live. Yanis. Here's Lake Fork. See all these red lines? These are roads that are close by us. Here's Mineola down here. There's an airport right here. These are other roads and things like that. But this is a county map. It shows us what's in our county, like a local map. So those are always very important to know. Let's see if we can, I think that may be, yeah, I think that's the only map that I have left. All right. So let's go over here to, this is our word. The only word that we're going to have today is the word symbols. The bucket and spoon are symbols for the drinking fountain and picnic areas on the park map. A symbol is something that stands for something else. So anyway, let's go ahead and look in our book on page 23. Not your workbook, but your reader book on page 23. Let's look in there. We're gonna talk about maps and going places and things like that. All right, are you on page 23 where it says map reading? You see where it says map? All right, we're going to read this section, and I'm going to read it to you, but I need you to follow along. It's very important that you follow along as I read, okay? And then as I ask you questions, I want you to answer. Now, I know that you know that I can't hear you, but your grandma can hear you, so I want to make sure that she hears that you're talking, okay? All right, so we're going to read this and find out what types of maps there are, which we've already looked at some, and also what helps us to read a map. Okay, I want you to be thinking about that as we read. Maps come in different shapes and sizes and can give the reader many different types of information. Some maps include roads and highways to help the map reader find his way in unfamiliar territory. Other maps may show the boundaries of countries, states, or counties. Another type of map may emphasize the physical features of an area of the world. Many kinds of information can be shown on a map, and sometimes more than one type of information may appear. In order for anyone to make use of the information given on a map, the map maker must provide a legend or a key to explain the symbols and colors used to identify the different kinds of information. In order for the map reader to understand the size of the area being shown or the distance from one place to another, the map maker must provide a scale which can be used to measure distances. So maps are useful for all different kinds of reasons, and there are maps that show us what kinds of things? Boundaries of different places. How far one place is from another. Special land features. Those types of things. And what were the couple of things that we talked about that helps us to understand what everything means on a map? Remember, we got to have a map key. Remember the map key that we saw with the one about the agriculture? We had to look at the numbers and it told us what it stood for, or the colors and it showed us what that stood for. Remember? And you also need something called a map scale. Can you turn the page to page 24? A map scale is what we're going to talk about right now. Now, look at map A there on page 24. Now, you see at the bottom where it says scale, it says 1 inch equals 5 miles. Do you think that you could draw 5 miles on your paper? No, because 5 miles is a long way, and you can't put 5 miles on a piece of paper. But what you could do is you could use an amount that would stand for 5 miles. Like maybe you could use 1 inch. And so every inch on a ruler would stand for a certain amount of miles. So let's look where it says up here at the top. It says, if Josh drew a map of the river where his adventure took place, his map might look like map A. To help someone reading the map to measure the correct distances, Josh would include a scale. A map scale compares the distances on the map to the actual distances on the earth. Often the scale is shown by a straight line, which may be divided into smaller parts, and each section stands for a certain number of miles. For example, 1 inch might represent 1 mile, or 1 inch may represent 5 miles. Depending on the size of the map reader can then use his scale to measure the exact distance between 2 points on the map. I'm on the next page right now, page 25. Next, Josh might draw a map of the section of the river where his adventure actually happened. In other words, he's kind of zooming in on that map. His drawing might look then like map B. Because of the difference in area shown, a different scale then is needed. The scale for map A is smaller. 1 inch equals 5 miles. If the drawing of... It says if the drawing of the river is 5 inches long on the first map, then the real river is 25 miles long. On map B, 1 inch equals 1 mile. Crab Island is 2 inches long on this map, so the island itself is 2 miles long. So you see how they use a scale to help you kind of see how big something is. And of course, if you don't know how big something is or how far something is, from somewhere, then you can't really use a scale. You really have to know the real amount so that you can know what stands for that. Okay? Can you look at page 26? This is talking to us about a map key. Okay? On this map, map C, we're going to see how we can find everything. Although map B shows where the island is located on the river, it doesn't show the physical features of the area. Josh may wish to identify the characteristics that are important to his story. He could do this using colors or symbols. Finally, Josh would need a key so anyone reading his map could understand at a glance the markings he used. His finished map might look like map C. Josh's knowledge of the river would help him draw a map of the river and the surrounding area. By identifying and labeling the features on the map, he would be able to help his teachers see more clearly exactly what had happened And by providing a scale, he could show the exact distance from place to place. So look at the scale on map C. 1 inch is 1 mile. The more you zoom in to a map, the smaller your scale can be. Like 1 inch is 1 mile, or whatever it is, or 1 centimeter is 1 mile. And then he used a key to show us what all the symbols were, what the arrows mean, what the colors mean, and that's what a map key does. So a scale helps us to determine and measure the distance between places. And then a key helps us understand the symbols and the colors on a map. All right, does that make sense? Okay. So let's get our work text out, the one that you write in your other reading book. And if you would turn to page 11. All right, so we're going to also today need a ruler. Do you think you could get a ruler? Actually, you don't even need a ruler. You could actually just use a sheet of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself back on the screen, but you may or may not see me for a few minutes. I'm going to show you how to do something, okay? So let me go ahead and get that done right quick. Okay, this is going to look kind of funny because I'm holding my camera. But I wanted to show you how to do something here on this map. You see this map that's on your page right here? You can find the actual distance between 2 points by using the map scale and a ruler. But let me show you how to do it if you don't have a ruler. Do you see this scale? All right, so what we can do is we can get a little sheet of scrap paper. I'm trying to do this with one hand. And you can just line this up like this. You see how I did that? I put it right against it. Okay, then I'm going to mark right there. It's kind of blurry, I'm sorry. All right, so that means that this is 1 inch, and that equals 4 miles. See how I marked it? And I don't really need a ruler. I know that this is 1 inch. And I know that, see there? That's 1 inch. Okay? All right, so now we know that, and this piece of paper is a little bit easier to use. Let's look at number 1. It says the distance across the river near Welcome City. Welcome City. Let's look down here at our map. The distance, okay, so right here, here's Welcome City, and it said the distance across the river. So from this point to this point. Let's just see. All right, you see what I've done? So I'm going to kind of mark this right there. All right, so let's bring this down here. See, and I'm lining it back up. See what I'm doing here? See how that is? Now that mark, this right here, is how far it was across the river right here. See what I did? Okay, so this is a quarter of an inch. See, there's 4 of them. So, you know, like if you have 4 quarters, that means you have $1. Okay, so here you have 4 parts of an inch. So let's think about this inch as being $1. Okay, and so each one of these is a quarter. Let's just think about that. So that means that across the river, it is a quarter of a mile. Well, this would be, well, it lines up right here. It's telling us it's 1 mile. See how that lined up with that? I didn't see these numbers up here. I wasn't looking, was I? So that would be 1 mile. Yeah, because this whole thing is 1 inch, and it's 4 miles. So each one of these is 1 mile. Okay, so that means your answer up here at the top would be 1 mile. The distance across. Let's look at the second one. The distance from Prong Island to Piney Overlook. All right, Prong Island to Piney Overlook. There's Prong Island. Now there's Piney Overlook right here. Let's measure it. Prong Island. See how I'm doing my paper? Ooh, I didn't do that very well, did I? Prong Island to Piney right there. Okay, you see? Now these are our This is Prong Island, and this is Piney Overlook. So I'm going to mark them like that. See how I marked them? Now I'm going to come down here and I'm going to see what they measure. Okay, so it's going to be between these. All right, well, we know this is 4 miles, right? So now we got to figure from here to here. 5, 6. 6 miles from Prong Island to Piney Overlook. So your answer on number 2 then is 6 miles. We had to kind of double up on that, didn't we? All right, what about the width? That means how wide. The width of the Whitecap River at its widest point. Whitecap River. They've already got it marked for us right here. This is Whitecap River, and this is at its widest point. So let's use our paper and let's mark it. We're going to mark it on the end on this one. It makes it easier when you use the end. Okay, so we're going to mark it right there. See how we're marking that? All right, so this is how wide it is on our map. So let's go put it on our scale. See what it comes out to be. Well, would you looky there? Came out to be a perfect 4 miles, didn't it? See? Perfect 4 miles. See how it measures out? Good. All right, so your answer then on number 3 is 4 miles. Number 4. What about the distance from Youngstown to Burnville? Youngstown to Burnville, right there. We will use the side of the paper that I haven't used yet. So let's put this right there on the edge. Is that about right there? So from that corner to about right there, I'm going to mark it. See how I'm marking it? Now I'm going to put it up to my scale and see what it comes out to be. My paper doesn't want to sit down, does it? Looks like it's a little bit more than 2. We're going to say it's closer to 2, right? Yeah, we're going to say it's 2 miles. So that's the answer on that one. See how we measured that using a piece of paper? Didn't even have to use a ruler, huh? All right, well, let me put this up here. This might make you sick at your stomach, but I hope it doesn't. So let me turn this around. If I see a bunch of stuff moving around, it makes me sick at my stomach. All right, there we go. All right, can you turn the page over now? On page 12, it says, design your own. Follow these steps below and make your own map. It says to draw a map of a real or imaginary area. It could be your backyard, your front yard, it could be your pasture, it could be your church, it could be a made-up place, whatever you want it to be. And it says to show physical features on your map like mountains or rivers or lakes or grasslands. That would be like pasture areas. Include a map key. That means if you put cattle on your map, then make sure you put on the map key what that means. So we'll know when we see that means cows or whatever you put. And also colors. If you use colors to mean certain things, make sure you put that on the map scale. And then it says include a scale of miles on your map if you wish. So that's not required. You don't have to do that. And on this page, I may just give you a grade on doing it. So make sure you do it well. Make sure you follow the instructions as best you can. And if you can't remember about the map key, look back in our book. Or, well, there's not one on that map, but I think there was a map key. Yeah, there's a map key on page 26 in your book, and you can look back there, okay? All right, so let's get started.